Friends and viewers, F. Scott Fitzgerald. In my previous video, I had talked and discussed about one of his novels, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. So today I am going to discuss one about is another great novel, The Great Gatsby. The name of this novel is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. So the story of this starts like Nick Carraway, a young man from Minnesota, moves to New York in the summer of 1922 to learn about the bond business. He rents a house in the West Egg district of Long Island, a wealthy but unfashionable area populated by the new rich, a group who have made their fortune too recently to have established social connection and who are prone to garish display of wealth. Nick, next door neighbor in West Egg, is a mysterious man named J. Gatsby, who lives in a gigantic Gothic mansion and throws extravagant parties every Saturday night. Nick is unlike the other inhabitant of West Egg. He was educated at Yale and was social and has a social connection in East Egg, a fashionable area of Long Island, home to the established upper class. Nick drives out to East Egg one evening for dinner with his cousin Daisy Buchanan and her husband Tom, an erstwhile classmate of Nick's at Yale. Daisy and Tom introduce Nick to Jordan Baker, a beautiful, cynical young woman with whom Nick begins a romantic relationship. Nick also learns a bit about Daisy and Tom's marriage. Jordan tells him that Tom has a lover, Martel Wilson, who lives in a valley of ashes, a grey industrial dumping ground between West Egg and New York City. Not long after this revelation, Nick travels to New York City with Tom and Martel at a vulgar, gaudy party in the apartment that Tom keeps for the affair. Martel begins to taunt Tom about Daisy and Tom responds by breaking her nose. As the summer progresses, Nick eventually garners an invitation to one of the Gatsby's legendary parties. He encountered Jordan Baker at the party, and they meet Gatsby himself, a surprisingly young man who affects an English accent, has a remarkable smile. He calls everyone old sport. Gatsby asks to speak to Jordan alone, and through Jordan, Nick later learns more about his mysterious neighbor. Gatsby tells Jordan that he knew Daisy in Lucivilla in 1917 and is deeply in love with her. He spent many nights staring at the green light at the end of her dock across the bay from his mansion. Gatsby's extravagant lifestyle and wild parties are simply an attempt to impress Daisy. Gatsby now wants Nick to arrange a reunion between himself and Daisy, but he is afraid that Daisy will refuse to see him if she knows that he still loves her. Nick invites Daisy to have tea at his house without telling her that Gatsby will also be there. After an initially awkward reunion, Gatsby and Daisy reestablish their connection. Their love rekindled, they begin an affair. After a short time, Tom grows increasingly suspicious of his wife's relationship with Gatsby. At a luncheon at Buchanan's house, Gatsby stared at Daisy with such undisguised passion that Tom realizes Gatsby is in love with her. Though Tom is himself involved in an extramarital affair, he's deeply outraged by thought that his wife could be unfaithful to him. He forces the group to drive into New York City, where he confronts Gatsby in a suit at the Plaza Hotel. Tom asserts that he and Daisy have a history that Gatsby could never understand, and he announces to his wife that Gatsby is a criminal. His fortune comes from bootlegging and alcohol and other illegal activities. Daisy realizes that her allegiance is to Tom, and Tom conscientiously sends her back to East Egg with Gatsby, attempting to prove that Gatsby cannot hurt him. When Nick, Jordan, and Tom drive through the Valley of Ashes, however, they discover that Gatsby's car has struck and killed Myrtle, Tom's lover. They rush back to Long Island, where Nick learns from Gatsby that Daisy was driving the car when it struck Myrtle, but the Gatsby intends to take the blame. The next day, Tom tells Myrtle's husband, George, that Gatsby was the driver of the car. George, who has leapt to the conclusion that the driver of the car that killed Myrtle must have been her lover, finds Gatsby in the pool at his mansion and shoots him dead. He then fatally shoots himself. Nick stages a small funeral for Gatsby and his relationship with Jordan, and moves back to the Midwest to escape the disgust he feels for the people surrounding Gatsby's life and for the emptiness and moral decay of life among the wealthy on the East Coast. Nick reflects that just as Gatsby's dream of Daisy was corrupted by money and dishonestly, the American dream of happiness and individualism has disintegrated into the mere pursuit of wealth. Though Gatsby's power to transform his dream into reality is what makes him great, Nick reflects that the era of dreaming, both Gatsby's dream and the American dream, is over. So this is the nutshell of this story, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Now let us see what theme is involved. The theme in this novel, the decline of the American dream in 1920s. So, and also we can see in this novel that we see the hollowness of the upper class in this novel, the class system in this novel, the American dream, love and marriage. These are the themes involved in this novel. So these are the themes and these are the stories, and I hope this is no doubt a beautiful novel by Fitzgerald. The character, let me tell about the character involved in this novel. Great Gatsby, Nick Carraway, Daisy Buchanan, Tom Buchanan, Jordan Baker, Myrtle Wilson, and George Wilson. These are the characters of this novel, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I hope you will enjoy this novel when you go through the pages of this novel. Kindly subscribe this channel. Thank you very much.